Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen. This is the Metallica Guru here. I think I was actually supposed to let Grit start the thing up. I'm very sorry.
That's alright. Go ahead, since you've started it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, apparently, like I told you guys before on my channel, that I'm not a fan of trends, that I really much hate them. But apparently it is coming to our attention that Star Wars is now owned by Disney. How is it so? George Lucas has sold Disney for how much? $4 billion?
That's
$4 billion.
Yeah, $4 billion has to.
Yeah, $4 billion. That's what I'd heard.
The most epic of all stories, of all movies that we were seeing to be on here, 4, 5, and 6, have now fallen to the clusters of the bottomless pits of Sarlacc in 2012.
Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, the Empire, the Rebellion, Boba Fett. Boba Fett is owned by Disney.
This is horrible. Oh, by the way, we didn't even do our YouTube names.
Okay.
Well, why don't we start by introducing ourselves then? Let's go and introduce ourselves.
I'm Grit99 2003.
The Geno 360.
And me and Basis.
And of course, you already know me as the Metallica Guru. And
By your name.
Now, I'm gonna start this off by saying I don't think it's going to be the end of the world or Star Wars as we know it. Just out of the fact that, you know, the people at Disney, there have to be at least a small collective of Star Wars fans there. So, I mean, if there's at least some, then, you know, Disney is a quality company. It could very well continue the legacy, maybe take it in a new direction.
You also got to think about the fact that Disney's trying to make everything PG, so that way children can watch it and be okay with, and their parents will be okay with it. So they're gonna end up PGing Star Wars.
Of course, Disney does
The
horrible.
lightsabers are gonna be made of like laser lights. Well,
Yeah.
they've always that, but they're not gonna be actual lethal. Like they're not gonna be lethal or anything like that. They're just gonna like tickle people now.
Yeah,
Well,
actually, hang on. See, Disney has a really bad history of sequels. Some sequels are good, some are bad. They usually do them direct to home video or DVD, whatever. So they'll probably have Star Wars 7 direct to home video or something, maybe, depending on how Disney feels, because Disney likes to butcher half the movies they make, or the prequels, sequels, whatever, and pretty much butcher them up and sell them for a cheap price. And it's not even going to be good, like Brother Bear 2 or The Mermaid 3 or Mulan 2, whatever. You know? So you got to think about that.
Disney.
think about it, it's going to be WWE all over again, because you know how they went from PG-13 to PG because they had to make it suitable for kids?
If I may interject right quick, I don't know. I mean, can we honestly say that Star Wars is not already there? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the whole Clone Wars series, it's nowhere near up to par of even the second round of movies that was made as a prequel to the original three. I mean, it's really, really dumbed down, and it, in my opinion, does not do the two trilogies any justice. Not that
Okay.
the second
Evan.
set did.
Alright, then how about this? Well, we all know that the prequels were terrible, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, what about the original trilogy? That was a pretty good one, wasn't it? Like, it was probably the best of all. So let's think about
Hold on, the only worst Star Wars one was the Christmas movie, or episode, whatever, but that was the only horrible one, as far as I know.
They made a Christmas Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess that just proves how horrible it is.
But
Some
here's...
Christmas stuff
Go
is good, some of it isn't. Like, okay, so Disney has done some good Christmas stuff, but if Disney did like a Star Wars Christmas and it sucks, then yeah, pretty much the Star Wars franchise is down the toilet. Because if Disney screws up Star Wars, it's over. I mean, all the Star Wars fans are pretty much not going to go to the cons anymore, or stuff like that. So if they're going to screw up Star Wars for everybody, then yeah, it's over.
If I can intervene, though, with this part right here, there's a couple things I just need to get off my chest on this point. But first, to start off, I mean, yes, I do agree with you, Tyler. The only thing, though, is that if it does happen, not all of it would go down the toilet. Remember, you still have 4, 5, and 6, which were the best episodes that were made by George Lucas, hands down. Now, I'm going to tell you hands down that I still respect the guy because he's made one of the 3 best films that were ever created by him. Not to also mention the Indiana Jones films. Let's just hope he doesn't screw that one up. Well, maybe he already did. Oh well. But the thing is that you're only going to have a divide between the new kind of Star Wars fans and the old school. Now, let me just ask this question real quick before I go into my next part. All in favor of saying that, actually no, not say it. If you are an old school Star Wars fan, say aye.
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 Okay, so we all agree. So that we would be on the dividing part against those who would actually see a PG rating a lot better than what they would see the original Star Wars as. Because maybe they can't handle some scary scenes or maybe some violent action compared to what's going to happen in this new Star Wars. We may never know.
If I could interject real quick, I don't know if that line of thinking is even possible for Disney at this point, because if you notice, like, a lot of the games that have come out based on Star Wars are not geared towards, children or even adolescents. A lot of them are geared towards, people in their teens, people in their 20s and 30s who happen to be Star Wars fans. I mean, I don't know what the most recent one is, but I know that of the role-playing games, none of them really look like they're aimed at, little Johnny down the street who plays with his friends. They're aimed at, some guy who's got an anger issue who wants to go and say, I crushed some skulls on the internet instead of in real life.
Oh, God.
Well, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, with something like that, I don't think that Disney can really break away from that without throwing off a huge section of the fandom and alienating it. But that's just my opinion.
I tell you what, most recent version is Star Wars 3. Return of the Jedi, basically. It came out back in 2005. That's where Anakin actually becomes Darth Vader. And then you gotta pretty much just watch the rest of the trilogy from, like, the 80s and the 70s, because the very first Star Wars came out in the 70s of 78, so you got people who are older than 30 that actually like Star Wars. Because if you think about it, from 70s, you're heavily released for the 50s. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Want to throw that in.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's one thing I at least wanted to point out. Okay, of course, I already talked about the divide between the new and old school Star Wars fans. I do agree that the games that are presented are towards more teens, but however, this is actually before the part of when Disney actually took control of Star Wars. And now also Disney has control of, I think, what was it, Nickelodeon and Marvel?
Yeah.
Do they have control of Nickelodeon? I'm not sure.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Okay, but the big problem is Star Wars Episode 7. So, of course, okay, it's already projected and planned that's going to come out in 2015, so it's going to take for about maybe 3 years or maybe 2 3/4 tops, maybe, because we're almost heading into 2013. Now, the really thing that's going to be really bothering my mind is who is going to be acting, who is going to provide what's going to be provided within this movie, and is it going to follow the books? Now, Mr. Revsion already pointed out that it's a possibility that it might not follow the books, because there was a chronological order that was supposed to come right after 6, but however, that line may not be as straight as we follow, it might go off in some tangent and go off into an alternative. But what I'm really focused on and worried about is who is going to be playing in this Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah, is it going to be the original cast, or are they just going to get new actors that aren't even cool?
Well, a lot of the actors are way older now.
Yeah.
Like,
That is true.
like what the guy who
There's,
played
Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and Carrie Fisher.
yeah,
Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford is Han Solo, and Carrie Fisher is Leia.
and I'm assuming that Obi-Wan is either no longer with us or retired for a very long time, I would assume.
I know Luke Skywalker's really old.
Yeah, Harrison Ford isn't exactly young and spry anymore either.
Yeah, the dude who played Anakin is still young. Back when,
Hayden Christensen
yeah,
from Star Wars Episode 3.
yeah, and 2.
Well, you see, I think the question isn't who will be playing the Star Wars characters. I think the question should be who's more qualified to play the Star Wars characters.
True.
That's a good question. That is a good question.
Yeah.
I think what it might narrow down to, I mean, we have to think about some actors who have actually made terrific movies.
Nicholas
Well-
Cage.
Well, I mean, just because they made terrific movies doesn't mean that they'll be particularly good for that role. I mean,
I do agree. Now, I know something that would just kill it right off the bat if you put Chuck Norris in there, but anyway.
oh god.
I know. The Expendables 2 was good enough with him in it, so let's leave it at that. If anyone could think of any good actors, please say so.
Denzel Washington.
Go with that.
As Mace Windu's long lost son.
You don't want to see, Justin Bieber playing Luke Skywalker, have all these stupid people that you don't want to see, I mean, if they have a fan vote, to see who would come in, then we'd be in big trouble, if you think about it, because, they have done a...
Especially Kim Kardashian.
Who becomes Luke Skywalker, I would have lost faith in my generation.
We've already lost faith in our generation. Look how fucked up it is.
No,
Everything.
Humanity.
I only lost faith in
I
my.
feel like the generation is young and stupid, and we might actually grow some brain sooner or later. But if they vote Justin Bieber to be Luke Skywalker, then yeah, I would have lost faith in them.
Well, honestly, I'm not going to say who I'd like to be in there because I don't know. I feel like there should be a chance for someone new to play these roles. Because honestly, I mean, a lot of the actors that I see in movies nowadays have like a niche sort of thing. Like, Liam Neeson, great actor. I like him. But only when he's playing in things like Taken and stuff like that. Where it's like straight, like, survivor action or something like that. I don't really see him playing as, like, a Jedi per se or, anything other than that, despite his work in the first Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2 cents on it. They'll probably choose some big name actors and they'll be like, forget that guy. He's just one derp.
You know what would be bad if they had like one of those the Disney actors from like those shows like Jesse or whatever, Hannah Montana, and have all them come into like the Star Wars stuff so they
Well,
can
pray to
keep
fuck that doesn't happen.
young fandom going.
Jesus.
Yeah,
That would
that would be
be...
bad.
Could you
I
imagine,
seriously doubt it.
Could you imagine Miley Cyrus as Princess Leia?
Oh gosh.
You could
Exactly.
write... No, Gino, please stop trying to come up with ideas for creepypastas on this channel, please. Okay? Because that is like the way you open it up. They were making Star Wars Episode 7. And they put Miley Cyrus as Princess Leia.
Oh,
Dun dun dun.
No,
Actually,
that
you
would be
know
horrible.
worse. You know what'd be even worse? If they put Rebecca Black as Princess Leia.
I seriously highly doubt it. But
Anyway, I think we've gone off on a tangent here.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Justin's
Saying
point.
would be what?
Justin, you have the floor.
okay, so before I move right back to the tangent, I would just like to say one of the characters I liked was Princess Leia. She's been actually my fantasy crush since I was 6 years old. So if they actually put a character who is so profound and very profound in messing up that role, I will lose faith in that role as well. But the thing is, Tyler, if you got a lot of sound, then you might want to.
Sorry.
You know who I'd be willing to accept for Princess Leia's role?
Who?
Damn, what was her name? She's like my favorite actress. She's the girl who plays the main character for The Whisper, the Ghost Whisperer. Jennifer Love Hewitt, that's it. Jennifer Love Hewitt as Princess Leia.
She's okay, I can guess.
True.
Everyone just, I'm like, yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Everyone's like, eh.
Hey. I don't know. I just don't think Jennifer Love Hewitt's that good of an actress. But that's just my opinion.
I think she's beautiful.
And I tell you what, Disney has been on a dumb streak of making movies because, honestly, the High School Musical 3 was horrible. Judge Dredd's going to be bad because it doesn't have Sylvester Stallone. Cause I think Disney did that one, didn't they? Didn't they do Judge Dredd?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought they did.
But
I think not Star Trek, what was that one? Tron. They ruined Tron.
If I could say this much, I feel like if Disney were to kick this project to the guys at Marvel, then maybe I would have some more faith in it, because the guys at Marvel have done a pretty good job with the Avengers series, the prequels leading up to the actual Avengers movie, and the Avengers themselves. I mean, I thought it was a good set of movies.
speaking of the Avengers, Disney does not have any control over that movie as well, because it was in pre-production before Disney bought Marvel.
Oh.
So they don't own the Avengers.
I have a question. Is Spider-Man Marvel or DC? Because I've seen him in both.
That really all depends. I mean, there is a Spider-Man versus a Superman where they collided together. Spider-Man, though, I don't think that falls under. I could be wrong here, but I don't think that falls under Disney's. It's a possibility. I don't know.
Okay. Out of curiosity, I had seen a sneak peek trailer for Iron Man 3. Was that in pre-production before the Disney takeover, or?
That I'm uncertain about that, but it's a possibility that might be owned by Disney. I cannot be exactly sure, but it's most likely that it might be, but I'm uncertain.
Well, I mean, in the case that it is, if it's of the same caliber as what we've come to expect of Marvel, then I would use that as like a precursor to stuff that Marvel might do in the future, to see how Disney is treating that franchise and the artistic talent there.
Which brings me to my final point. I know of a company that actually is more deserving of not only Marvel, but Star Wars as well, and that is Warner Brothers, in my opinion. Warner Brothers should actually have that.
True.
You mean those three little Borat creatures?
No.
You with the face.
Brothers.
You with the face. Please stop.
I tell you what, Disney actually You know, like taking like basically like shows from already a network and like turning them into like shit. Like imagine, you remember Doug, how it was on Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh my God.
Disney took over and changed like half the voice cast and made it crap, and they changed everything. They made the beats disband. They made Patty get a haircut. They made Doug's new voice actor stupid. They took down the Honkaburger and everything else, and Disney just fucked it up. Except Doug finally got Patty like he wanted, which was actually good. The entire series, all everything else was shit. But you know, Disney should have took up that. And it's like, okay, so basically Saban had Power Rangers, and Disney turned it into crap. Well, some of it was good, but it was still bad, though. And half of it was screwed up right there, so Disney's
And also, sorry.
bad. That's all I'd say. Disney was just bad. So.
And you know what? There's something else that also makes it worse. There is a movie coming out. I think John C. Riley or something like that. It's John E. Riley. I'm sorry, but I don't know exactly what it is, but it's actually a new feature that's going to be coming out in theaters soon. It's another Pixar, I guess, but I think it's called Wrecking Joe or something like that. I don't
Wreck-It
know.
Ralph?
But,
They're
Wreck-It
running
Ralph?
that. Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. They're running that horribly. Sonic,
the thing,
Browser, and all that shouldn't be on there.
I haven't seen it, but it looked like it'd be a pretty decent Pixar movie. Nothing
Yeah,
to
but the problem is they have characters from other franchises in there. They have M. Bison and Zangief from Street Fighter. They have Kano from Mortal Kombat, which is a rated M game.
Yes, and they have Chun-Li
The
from
Ghost.
Street Fighter. Oh my god. I mean, Disney should not do that. They even put, like, crappy music in there. Just from, like, straight Disney, because Disney wants to put pop in there. They can't put anything else in there but pop and rap. I mean, seriously. I mean, everybody loves pop and rap nowadays. I mean, seriously, expand it. Have country, rock, you know, techno, something. Because I'm getting sick and tired of watching these damn Disney movies with nothing else but listening to pop music. Because I was sitting there watching Disney with my little sister because she wanted me to. And basically, I'm watching Wreck-It Ralph, and then there was this dude from one of the Disney channels, or Jasmine or whatever, and he wrote a pop song for it. It was just so straight up pop. It sounded like Justin Bieber with Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana, and it was just horrible. And honestly, half those people I've looked up on the voice cast were basically from Disney, and the others were actual people from the games, you know, like who did Sonic and stuff. They're actually the ones who are actually doing the voices from the video games, but all the other halves are from the damn Disney shows, and Disney's just going down the damn toilet with these people, because these people aren't even funny on Disney. They're not even talented. All they are is just a bunch of stupid stand-ins. So I think they need to redo that movie and do it right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's too close to the air date for that to happen, so...
Well,
unless...
then they're going to get one hell of a bad movie. Because if it gets good ratings, I'm not going to be surprised, but seriously, they need to...
I think we stopped talking about the Star Wars thing.
Yeah. And on that,
we
I'd
talked
like to
about
bring
Disney,
it back.
basically, because Disney is evil, so... But seriously, though, I mean, think about this. Okay, so
I'd like
video
to...
games that kids don't know about, and they're rated M, and half of these that kids don't even know about, and when they see this, they're going to be like, awesome, and they're going to be playing these stupid games that, you know, that Disney's going to recreate, that it's already licensed, and it's just going to be stupid shit. I mean, seriously, these kids aren't going to know nothing, and, you know, the way that Disney already changed these kids pretty much isn't good, because Disney's like a bunch of pop-turning creeps, and I've seen people who have watched Disney, and believe me, it's changed a lot of kids, and it's just stupid. They look like a bunch of hoes and stuff, going like, oh my god, I'm just, like, so great. Oh, I'm like, holla later. Stupid shit like that. Turn my cousin into a fucking prick, whatever you want to call it, from Disney, so.
Okay, I'm gonna say something real quick here.
Horrible.
Okay, first, as far as, like, Pixar goes, I actually have, respect for the way Disney handles that relationship, because honestly, Pixar does hold a lot of its creative qualities that it had even before it was purchased by Disney still. And they put out some pretty good stuff, despite the fact that they're part of Disney now.
Yeah.
And so I don't see demonizing Disney at face value over purchasing Star Wars as being a logical course of action, because you never know. They may do the same thing where they're like, you know what? We own you guys, we'll make money off of you guys, but you know what? Do what y'all have been doing and just make good stuff. There is that possibility. At the same time, it's like with a lot of the like bringing Zangief and all of these others from M-rated games into Wreck-It Ralph, right?
Yeah.
They're probably just going to play cameos in the entire series or movie, excuse me, given the fact that most of these characters are owned by like Capcom and, you know, Nintendo, etc., etc.
Okay, what did I miss? That was gone. Kitty!
Oh, everybody, Kitty Wonder has joined the debate. We're debating whether the purchase of most of the Star Wars franchise by the Disney Corporation is a good thing or a bad thing in the long run. So,
Whose turn is it?
well, since you came in, I will give the floor to you for right now. What are your reactions to the purchase, and where do you stand on the issue?
Well, personally, well, Disney purchased Marvel and they haven't screwed that up yet, have they?
Disney didn't do Toy Story. I mean, Toy Story was actually pretty good, so Disney didn't screw Toy Story up.
It made Toy Story
As
3.
Pixar, I'm talking about Disney purchased Marvel Comics and they have not screwed that up. We all know how epic Marvel is.
Right.
Well, Disney didn't really have much corporation with the Avengers and all that stuff.
It doesn't matter. Disney still purchased Marvel Comics, which is renowned for its Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and so forth. But
Yeah, for the
since
Fantastic Four
doesn't
from
have to
the
do
Blu-ray
with-
big screen as well.
yeah, we can go on and on about comics, but either way, Disney purchased Star Wars. Personally, I would love to see their interpretation. I mean, I cannot judge until I see. I mean, sure, say if I know this is going on topic, but I use random examples all the time. Say if there was a new Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I would probably not like the idea, because I grew up with the 90s version with Melissa Joan Hart, but I was willing to give it a chance.
Right.
So, my point is, let's wait to scream until after we see the film. Then we have a right to rage all we want.
Exactly.
I do agree, but here's just one thing I just want to. Well, two things I need to point out though. If anyone has seen the actual behind the scenes or documentations of how Star Wars have ruled the earth since the 80s, you can tell all these fans have come together dressed in the cosplays of Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader. All this merchandise was being held together. It was like a big empire, and now this empire has actually
Fallen.
it's kind of slipped away. And I understand, but people have different interpretations and different perspectives of what's going on. Did George Lucas sell out to his from his fans? Did he turn his back? Or because there was a statement that he said he wanted he gets more money. Now the thing is, like, I do agree with what Kitty has to say here, that we should wait to see what happens before we explode our heads off. But the only thing I'm just exploding my head off is this: Disney now has a control of one of the greatest franchises that were ever made, excluding 3, 2, and 1 episode. And the Clone Wars, you can kick that out the door. But the thing is about it, though, is because Star Wars' nature, I mean, it mostly, to me, defined the late 70s and early 80s. Basically, like I said, Star Wars has ruled the world. And, Gino, can you take over for about a couple seconds?
No, I don't really have much to say. Oh, you mean take over to call?
No, here, I'll take over. So think about it. If all these, like, Star Wars fans, you know, at the cons and everything, but think about it, you know, you have all these little fans, and I'm saying, like, what if Disney did screw up? That's, like, half the fan base gone, and maybe some of them might stay true and say, hey, we like it. I mean, you know, George Lucas will probably feel like an ass, you know, saying, you know, I feel bad, I've lost half of all my fans. You know, and what will the old Star Wars people think of, you know, like all the old actors, what will they think of the new movie, you know? Will they like it? Will they hate it? Who knows, you know?
Yeah.
So will it screw up? Will it, you know, succeed? Who knows?
In which this also takes a profounding toll on whoever would actually come with the idea, because we have to accept the facts that Marvel, Nickelodeon, and now Star Wars are now owned by Disney. And now which Disney actually holds that famous cartoon character, Mickey Mouse, who has the reputation of king of cartoons. That's a fact there. But what worries me is that we still have Cartoon Network, we still have whatever else is left. But the thing is, what if Cartoon Network is next on the list, or what are this other channels next on the list, and they go into Disney? How would other people react to this? Now, I know the conversation was about Star Wars, but the thing is that we still have other channels, but for all we know, they're next on the list to be bought, and this would cause a very upset rising out of this, because I'm not saying it's going to happen, it's only hypothetically, but the thing is, this would cause a big stir to among cartoon fans. Now, I'll end it off right here, but with the exception of regular show, they can keep all that new stuff. They could take that all with them. I wouldn't care. As long as the old school stuff from Looney Tunes all the way up to Ed and Eddie and maybe regular show, I keep that as an exception. But for everything else, that stuff can go. But if they take away another franchise that actually has a reputation that has kept up high for a while, even though it's kind of gone low, this is only going to cause people to think a little bit differently, not watch these cartoons, go out and do something else.
Well,
so basically, yeah, but
if I could just, I feel like there's a lot of hyperbole in there, just because, like, if you look at Disney's acquisitions, they're not aimed at what we're looking at, because we're in the 20, 30, and late teens demographic, right? So we appreciate some of these cartoons that have a little more finesse and have, you know, a more adult flavor to them. Disney does not aim for this. Disney, since its inception, has aimed for a very squeaky clean, family-friendly image. That's why they purchase things such as Marvel, such as Star Wars, where, yes, they are adult, but at the same time, they are just enough to appeal to children and be acceptable to the parents who allow their children to watch it.
Yes,
It's for something like that they're not going to try to buy out Cartoon Network, because Cartoon Network has already laid its cards on the table with things such as Toonami, such as Adult Swim, which are not aimed at a younger audience. They're aimed at people in the age bracket that is between, 16, 17 to 30, 40. Yeah.
Yes. See, if you think about it, though, since, Disney is going to be having Star Wars, and if they're going to, like Justin said, keep the books up, Mataku Guru, basically, what if they do cut out the scenes that were supposed to be in there, that are kind of like adult, but, not really, there. It's basically taking out scenes from Titanic and making it into kid-friendly, like they did with those animated musicals of the Titanic that were horrible, like Nostalgia Critic said. So well, what happens if they do butcher up Star Wars and you know, it's going to be crappy. So you got to remember about that. You know, if they start cutting out scenes that were really important and actually, you know, still take away from the movie.
Yeah. Well, I feel as though we're kind of starting to spin towards just criticizing Disney and not actually concentrating on the Star Wars franchise.
I
So,
think we're going on a bit too long now.
yeah, I'd like to get closing remarks from everybody and sign off for the night. How is that to everybody?
I'll save Mike for last.
All right. Well, Tyler, you go first.
From the wisdom of the fat dude from Robot Chicken who wears a Star Wars shirt, go get him, Han Solo. That's all I have to say.
All right. Kitty?
Well, personally, I can't say much of anything except for what I said earlier.
All right. All right. Justin, any closing remarks?
I do have to agree with what Kitty says. We have to wait and see what goes on. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm getting this gut feeling that I'm not going to be looking forward to what's going on here. Because I know George Lucas is a whole lot better than this, and he could have actually stuck to what he did. And if he wanted to make a Star Wars Episode 7, at least do it on his own kind of thing. Don't do it for the money, because that's basically spitting in the face of fans, in my opinion. That's just slapping them in the face. That's a slap in the face to Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and basically every good actor that has played in Star Wars. And that's all I have to say.
Gino?
Okay, well, I can't really say much either. There isn't a lot I could say, but I can say one thing. Can you imagine if Fred from, you know, the channel Fred played as Han Solo?
Jesus Christ.
Hey, it's Han!
Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna cut that one off. Anyway.
No!
As a closing remark, I'd just like to say to the Metallica Guru's point, we should be critical, but to the Kitty Wonder's point, we should reserve judgment until after we've seen what happens. And so to those here and out there on the interwebs, let's just wait and see what happens when Episode 7 or whatever Star Wars-based stuff Disney comes out. And with that, this emergency debate is officially over. I'm Grit99 2003. One of y'all. Say your name.
Me and Basis signing out.
Hey, it's Gina.
This is the Gino 360 signing out.
And this is the Metallica Guru signing out.
Alright. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.